Admiral Vexthul of the Corthanian Empire adjusted his ceremonial battle crown as he gazed upon the blue marble that hung before his massive invasion fleet. Earth. The third planet of an insignificant yellow star, inhabited by a species so primitive, they still used chemical propulsion to escape their own gravity well. Such a pathetic world, he rumbled to his second-in-command, Commander Zektar. Intelligence reports indicate these humans have barely achieved faster-than-light communication, let alone travel. Their largest weapons are fusion-based, crude devices that wouldn't scratch our shields. The bridge of the flagship Dominator buzzed with activity as 3,000 warships prepared for what would surely be the shortest conquest in Imperial history. Vexthul had led campaigns against 17 different species across the galaxy. The humans would make 18. "Sir," reported the tactical officer, "we're detecting primitive satellites and space stations around the planet. Some appear to be armed with projectile weapons and basic energy arrays." Vexthul's mandibles clicked in what passed for laughter. Among his kind. "Projectile weapons? Against Imperial shields? Begin the invasion. Deploy the fear protocol. Let them see our might before we claim their world." The massive fleet moved into Earth's outer system, their ships' hulls gleaming with the dark energy that had conquered civilizations across 3 galactic arms. Each vessel was a masterpiece of Imperial engineering, armed with quantum disruptors and reality-warping weapons that could crack continents. On Earth's surface, Dr. Sarah Mitchell monitored the approaching fleet from the underground command center, buried 3 kilometers beneath the Colorado Rockies. Around her, hundreds of technicians worked at stations that would have looked impossible to any Corthanian observer, technology that bent the fundamental forces of the universe in ways the Empire had never conceived. "How many ships?" asked General David Chen, stepping up beside her console. 3,012, Sarah replied calmly. "Standard Imperial formation. They're not even trying to hide their approach." "They don't know about the Watchers, do they?" Sarah smiled grimly. The Corthanian Empire conquered primitive civilizations for so long, they forgot that evolution doesn't stop. They've never encountered a species that developed quantum consciousness manipulation. High above, Admiral Vexthul was growing impatient. Why haven't they surrendered? Surely they can see they're outmatched. Perhaps they're too primitive to understand the magnitude of... The sensor operator's voice cracked with sudden terror. "Admiral, I'm detecting massive energy signatures throughout their system, not from the planet, but from everywhere." "Explain yourself." "The asteroids, sir, the moons, even the space debris. Everything is generating quantum field fluctuations beyond our measurement scales." Vexthul's 3 hearts began racing. "That's impossible. Our intelligence..." "Your intelligence," came a voice that seemed to originate from the very fabric of space around them, was intentionally limited. On every screen throughout the Imperial fleet, the image of Dr. Sarah Mitchell appeared. Behind her stood representatives of humanity, not just from Earth, but from hidden colonies that had existed for millennia throughout the galaxy. "You see," Sarah continued, her voice transmitted directly into the aliens' minds, "humanity didn't just achieve faster-than-light travel recently. We achieved it roughly 50,000 years ago. We've been watching the Corthanian Empire's expansion with great interest." The Admiral's claws scraped against his command throne. "Impossible. Your species is primitive." "We let you think that," Sarah replied. "Every species you've encountered, every conquest you've achieved, they've all been our laboratories. We've been studying how your empire operates, learning your weaknesses, understanding your technology." Throughout the fleet, Corthanian warriors began to notice something horrifying. The space around them wasn't empty. It was filled with structures that their sensors couldn't detect. Vast constructs that dwarfed their largest battleships began materializing, having been cloaked by technology that manipulated perception itself. "You came here expecting to conquer a planet of primitives," Sarah's voice continued. "Instead, you've stumbled into the territory of a species that learned to harness quantum consciousness 200,000 years ago. We don't just build weapons. We convince reality itself to be our weapon." Admiral Vexthul screamed orders to retreat, but his ship's engines wouldn't respond. Every system aboard every vessel in the fleet, had been subtly infiltrated by human consciousness technology that existed in 11 dimensions. "Please understand," Sarah said, her tone almost gentle. "We take no pleasure in this. But the Corthanian Empire's expansion ends here. Your species will be relocated to a world where you can evolve beyond your need to conquer others." The 3,000-ship Imperial fleet didn't explode or burn. It simply ceased to exist in local space-time. One moment, Admiral Vexthal was commanding the mightiest war fleet in known galactic history. The next, he found himself standing in a pleasant meadow on a world whose yellow sun looked remarkably familiar. Around him, his entire fleet's personnel stood in similar confusion. Their weapons, their ships, their technology, all gone. But they were alive, unharmed, and free to build a new civilization without the need for conquest. Back on Earth, Dr. Sarah Mitchell closed the communication channel and turned to General Chen. "How many more Imperial fleets are heading toward human colonies?" 17 across 4 galactic sectors. "Signal all stations," Sarah said calmly. "Time to introduce the rest of the galaxy to what humanity really is." Across the cosmos, ancient human outposts that had posed as primitive worlds for millennia began revealing their true nature. The age of conquest was ending. The age of conscious evolution had begun.